Hey people, so as promised, we're live and ready to share some Jiu Jitsu. So I'd love to have people join us, just so we know how many people are watching, and then if you have any particular interests that you wanted us to share, I'm happy to receive these questions, these requests. I do have something in mind that I'll be wanting to show, but I'm happy to hear whatever you have to say. In case you didn't know, this is my beautiful wife, Ola.
No.
She's happy to be on some sort of mat training because we're not training, and she's more of a mat freak than I am. So
Am I?
yeah, kind of. Should be fun. Let me see who we got there. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Oh, I got a bunch of people joining. Wonderful. All right. So most of you guys have seen many of these things before. So what I'm going to do for you guys. It is one of the requests that I received last week on the entropy page for techniques to show on Technique Tuesday, and it just so happens to be Tuesday. So we're going to do a nice back take from De La Hiva guard, and then some options from there once we get to the back. All right? So I'll be sure to move in different angles, and I'll work off of your guys' feedback. All right? So we'll start with the guard. See how much of this they see. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so I have my De La Hiva guard in normal position here. My leg is looped around her leg, and my other foot is posted on her quad. Okay? Make sure to not keep your knee posted so far out so that you break your opponent's posture, and at the same time you don't hurt your own knee when you're in here. So there are a few ways to control De La Hiva guard from the bottom. Okay? Starting from the ones we learned like all way far back until the modern days today. But it basically comes down to this. It comes down to which parts of your opponent you're controlling. Okay? So most of the time I want to control the ankle on the De La Hiva side or the pants. So in the old days we used to just control the ankle. Okay? But Does it ratio? Okay, so I'm controlling the ankle here. But in more modern days, people have been more innovative in the way they escape this. So turn a little bit this way. Okay.
So you can see the legs, yeah.
One. Okay. And so I used to be just grabbing the ankle here back in the day, but then people start to just kick their leg out. Kick your leg out.
Which one?
This one.
Oh.
Yeah, kick it out that way. Oh, yeah. So if she kicks it out that way, it's free from my grip. So these days I'm more into gripping the pants. So I make a grip knuckles towards the shin over here. Yeah, exactly. Now it's very hard for her to break that control. So if I'm controlling the leg, there are two ways I like to do this. I like to either control the far side sleeve with this leg, or the cross collar here, or the near side collar for me. Okay, can everybody see this? Oh, they can. So near side collar with the pants, or far side arm with the pants. Okay? And the reason I do opposites, so diagonals on the arm and the leg, is because here, if she has a free arm, okay, she'll be able to punch my leg through and step over and start working her passing sequences, make my life a little bit miserable. So, and then the other one here, grabbing the collar, is very good because I can control my opponent's posture. So for me, even if her arm is free and she wants to push my leg down and control it, I can control the posture here. I can bring her forward and start elevating and working sequences from there to break the posture. Okay? And then the very last one that I've been using like forever in the day is sleeve and collar. Okay, but this one is a little bit tricky to use because I'm going to need to control not only her upper body from this side, okay, but I also need to control whether or not she decides to move. So start passing like, yeah, exactly. Free legs means easier way to pass the guard. So what I've been doing to sort of neutralize this is I use the far side leg, the not De La Hiva leg, I use it against the shoulder here. So I kind of follow my opponent's shoulder here, and I create a bit of an imbalance for her. Lift your arms, right? Yeah. I create a bit of an imbalance following her shoulder so that if she starts to move around and pass, I at least have a foothold, okay, over that position. And then this leg doesn't have to stay stuck inside the De La Hiva guard. It can go to the hips, right? It can go over like attacking on plata, okay? And so you have many options to work from here. And so what I want to do today, after that nice simple tutorial, but today what I want to do is one of the very first back takes I did in De La Hiva guard. Okay, for this one, I'm going to go for grip number 1, where I have sleeve and pants okay, or ankle and pants. If you choose to grab the ankle, you choose to take that wrist. For me, I'm just gonna go for gripping the pants from here on out. And this far side leg, I like to post it on the quad here. And me controlling this hand is a good way for me to stop my opponent from pushing my leg through. Okay? And just grabbing the sleeve is not always a deterrent. It's not always gonna stop her from going here because her wrist is free, right? So what I can do is I can turn my knuckle towards the wrist, okay? And that way, even if her wrist is free, it's very hard for her to use that same wrist to push against my leg. I kind of control the direction of that wrist here, okay?
This one.
That one, right? That one doesn't matter to me too much because by the time it gets there, it's a good question. By the time it gets there, I'm controlling this side sleeve and I'm causing different kinds of problems. But yeah, this arm is free and it can and will cause problems. Pushing diagonal is not as strong as pushing with this arm and stepping over. Cool. So I'll be in here, and again, what my goal is going to be is to angle my opponent's body this way. Remember, I'm going to the back. So I'm going from here all around there. So instead of me doing all the movement, okay, I'm going to tilt my opponent, I'm going to tilt her, and then find my way back there. So kind of like meeting halfway. So I'm here, and I'm pushing the far side leg. I'm being heavy on the far side leg. Oh, nice. So she got tricked. So I'm pushing on the far side leg, and at the same time that I do this, okay, I'm going to start raising here. So I'm kind of like using her foot as a step up. So I use it to lift my hips, and as I lift my hips, I use my de la hiva, and I make it a deep de la hiva. So I lift my hips, and I'm going to go on this side shoulder to the mat, so that I can reach with my de la hiva leg also deep.
I don't think they can see it.
They can't see it. Let me just check real quick. Good job, guys. Love it.
Can you see
Awesome.
the deep ha? The deep de la hiva?
سامر دايما بالذات ها
Samar,
سامر
Samar, we miss you!
I miss you a lot, bro. Alright, so I'm here in my position, so I'll do this in different angles so they can see at the same time. And I'm going to use my foot on the leg. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my
Put
foot.
your head here so they can see the deep de la hiva.
Huh?
I think. Put your head here.
Yeah, okay, from different angles. Okay, so I'm going to start here. First start by breaking my opponent's posture as much as I can. So I push the leg as far back as I can and force that L shape. So see how her body makes like an L shape, like so. This is bad for her and good for me. Okay, and I create that angle that I need to. Okay, so now she's already fighting the posture. By this time, even if she fights back, it's exactly what I need. I need to press against this leg and have something solid to lift my hips against and get the de la hiva deep. Okay, let's turn this way so you can see a deep de la hiva. I think this is a decent angle for you to see. So I'm pushing here, I go on my left shoulder, and I get my deep de la hiva through. Okay, so see my de la hiva went all the way to the other side, and I like to keep it above the knee. Okay, so I reach in, and the de la hiva goes above my opponent's knee. Below the knee, it gets a little bit weak, and people can like step over it or smash it with the outside knee. So I'm here, I'm pushing, I lift, I go on my shoulder, and I go deep de la hiva. Wonderful. And now, once I have the deep de la hiva, I'm going to utilize this to the best of my capability. Okay? Again, I'm forcing her to turn that way so that I can take advantage of the situation and do a nice little back take. Remember, I started with my foot on the quad, but as soon as I got my de la hiva hook there, now I don't need that foot there anymore. Okay? I can actually use that to my advantage to start scooting out. And as I scoot out, as I shrimp out and get my head towards her legs, okay, and get my hips to the outside, it causes even more imbalance. And as I'm doing this, I stretch my de la hiva leg and cause her to kind of start backstepping or kind of shimmying back like she's gonna backstep. That's exactly the move that I want. So once I'm here, I can use this on the ground. Some people still use it on the leg, but that's the move that I want to happen exactly. So I prompt my opponent to start walking back or stepping back, and as soon as I feel that that's happening, I'm going to change my grips. Okay? So I'm going to go from sleeve on this hand, okay, to this side sleeve and the belt. So I'm going here, I'm moving, okay? Sleeve it, we're going to go sleeve and belt. Some people go belt right away. Okay, so let's do this one. So I go belt right away, and then I make a hook right behind her knee. Now it's all easy. As long as you don't leave your knee in the middle for higher belts to knee bar you, you pull your foot back in, okay? And she sits back right onto the hooks. Now I pull the butt down and kick forward, and I'm on the back. Turn this way. So again here, I'm pushing, making my pressure, turn on my shoulder, get the deep de la hiva, boom. Now I can post. I start moving a little bit, stretching my leg. As soon as movement happens there, I'm gonna go to the belt right away. I go to the belt and I move my hook right behind her knee. Okay? Hook behind her knee, start pulling on the belt and extending the legs so that I land on the back. And from here, easy attacks are there. I like to try to get the same side hook as the choking arm first, and I work for the other side, or maybe get a half back. Okay, so this is a pretty good position to get to. Pants and sleeve. Push away to break the posture. Lift my hips. Here, post the leg. Scoot away. Belt. Hook behind the knee, and pull. Seat belt right away, and get to attack. Let's see if we got any questions or any more likes and all the such. Let's see.
What's everybody
Abu
saying?
Samra, miss you more. Abu Samra, habibi inta. Beautiful stuff. Us indeed. Okay, wonderful. So if you guys need to see that again or need me to change angles or anything, just let us know and I'll do it again for you. But otherwise, I'm going to continue going, okay? And we're going to show you like an attack series from the back.
There's a sweep from there, right?
معكم رضا من مصر؟ لا بالله عليك. Huh?
Isn't there a sweep from there?
Like instead of the back take?
Mm-hmm.
There is a sweep.
I usually do it, but do you want to show it officially or?
Yeah, go ahead. She'll demonstrate in my butt.
Oh no, you. So basically, from the de la hiva, usually what I like to do is for example, I would go deep de la hiva, and if I start to go to the back and I see that they're moving, like they're reacting in a way where it's difficult for me to get my hook in, I can just throw them on the ground and just get up. If that, I don't know if we were too close.
Let's do that again. Let's do it before.
So, because sometimes they react in a way where it's difficult to put, is that right?
Yeah.
To put the back hook in. So from the la hiva, you're like this. You also lift when you go to the deep de la hiva. See, my foot is there. It's on deep de la hiva now. I'm trying to get this other hook in, but he's reacting in a way where it's not possible. I bring him close towards me, and then I push myself back and drop him with this leg, basically. So I'm bringing him closer and dropping him, and then you can maybe get up into some kind of leg drag, or you can get up inside and knee cut. But yeah, I really like to do this.
Do it again. Very nice option instead of the back tape. I'll just walk you through some.
Okay. Okay.
So first of all, you can choose which guard you're going to play. So if you're playing collar and sleeve, yeah, and you're not controlling my shoulder with your leg, I'm going to step over and cause you problems.
So this is what you think is better?
No. Even if you're holding same side collar, yeah. So if you're doing collar and sleeve, I would control the shoulder with this leg.
Okay.
Follow my shoulder. Causes a lot of imbalance. Because now, even if I kick my leg out, you can still follow me with the shoulder and like throw almost flat as attacks and everything. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's one. And then two. For this particular one, if you're gonna go deep de la hiva, I would grab the ankle just to keep me, or the pants, just to keep me from running away. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Freaky legs.
start again. Sorry, I slipped.
Sorry.
So here, you're saying instead of the arms, get up.
Yeah, yeah.
And do like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so now when you're here, okay, even if you're not going for the back take, what you can do is you can still use this hook.
To drop you?
Right, to drop me. And then kick, you can pick up, exactly, and now you can come up into like a leg drag position.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sweet.
Nice.
And then for you upper belts, then for you upper belts, if you're going to drill this move, make sure, yeah, your upper belts, make sure you don't leave this leg, okay? Make sure you don't leave this leg stuck in the middle, because some guys will just, you know, jump on it and start attacking your knee as you're doing the sweep, okay? So if I were you and doing this move, just make sure before you finish your sweep, yeah, exactly,
in here?
Yeah, pull the knee back out. So now there's very little chance of them attacking your knee or leg, toe hold, or anything. So now from here, you can just continue to kick out, come up into a nice leg drag position.
The leg drag doesn't show.
That's beautiful.
It's getting too close.
And you're there. Supposedly I'm going to do the back take here.
Yeah,
and there's resistance, right? I need to use my hand on the mat. Pull you down. Use my hand on the mat. Pull you down. Right, as if it's a back take. And I just kick and come up. And come down here into leg drag. Ooh.
This is one of my favorite sweeps.
It's pretty awesome. What's Eric saying? Can Rolla do a big back step once you insert the deep de la Riva over you? Yes. Yes. So, very good question, Eric. So,
Who's that?
Eric. Big Eric. Irish Eric.
Yeah, there's only one Eric.
There's only one Eric. Okay. So, that's a very good question. So I'll show you exactly how that may or may not happen. So as soon as I come up here, okay.
No.
So as soon as I come up here and
he wants to do a big back step. First of all, I have to get rid of this guy. Right? Because
well,
you're pushing with this.
yeah, but after he's saying after I get here he's saying
back take.
Yeah, she can for back step.
Yeah, but it makes me susceptible for a back take.
Well, you are susceptible anyway for a back take, but he's saying like if you get in here and you like land heavy on me before I'm able to get my hook in.
Your knee's in the way.
Just get exactly there. Yeah. I know it because that's what he would do, right, buddy? Come back up. So there are two ways around this. For Eric and anybody who's wondering about this as well. First of all, I have to look for preemptive measures. So if my opponent feels that I'm gonna do this back take, okay, and they start to walk back in a way that's like, okay, they're turning away too easy, or you feel like they're gonna back step, then you need to take advantage of this, okay, and start working for your sweep. So that's one way. Like I have this happen like all too often. Like I get in here, okay, and I start exactly, and this happens immediately, okay. First of all, her grabbing your head here is like a we'll deal with that later. Like if that actually happens, we'll talk about it because it's a very good thing for her. That's very bad for me. So you can tell she's done this a lot. So, I'll be in here. I'll lift and wait. It's not live. It's not
How do you want me to react?
No, it's not live. So I'm in here, okay, and she starts going. So obviously, Eric, option A is be faster than your opponent, okay. So boom, you're in here, and she goes, come back. Obviously, that's option A, okay. Option B is I lift and I'm here, and I see this happening, and I can't let her close all this distance. Go back. I can't let her close all this distance so quickly, okay? This is a big threat for me, but it's not particularly the end. So, like I said, option A is be fast. Option B, this knee is actually going to protect me. So if you keep it like deep and she jumps over it, we're done, all right? But if you feel like she's moving a little too quickly, come back. I'm going to show them the trick. So if you feel like they're moving a little too quickly or faster than you'd like, then of course I'd sleep. Or faster than you'd like, okay? I'm going to use this foot that I used earlier on the leg, okay? And I'm going to hook behind her knee at the same time. So make it like a de la X. So now she can't step back, only when I choose to let her step back. Exactly. So we're in here and she wants to step back, boom, I hook behind the leg.
Nice.
So actually this is a defense for a normal back step. So let's say we're playing de la Riva and you're worried your opponent's going to back step. You just hook behind the knee. Here. So one side is pushing and the other side is hooking behind the knee. Here, so you can pull her back to base if you like. If you want to play sort of a different game over here. But if I'm doing my deep guard, boom, hook behind the knee, and you've stopped it right in its tracks. And now, not only have I stopped it,
bad.
Okay, yeah, she's in very bad base. So now if I pull her towards me, and here we're talking about a very big sweep this way or the other way. I can unhook and come on top.
This is torture. This guard.
Right?
The legs.
And two, let's say, worst case scenario, worst, your opponent is much faster than you, and your opponent is much faster than you, and they actually make it where they start to be heavy over you and they land all over you. Okay, that's when we need to think of exit strategy from there. And I need to stop her from grabbing the crossface. When she grabs the crossface, we're talking like, okay, Hail Mary, see how much time is left on the clock, that kind of deal. So I'm lifting my hips here, and I'm getting my deep de la hiva. Right, she starts stepping over here. I can't have this happen. So I get in. I put my forearm under her armpit, okay, and I reach, and I grab here. Grab something. Grab the piece of the gi. If I can untuck the gi and grab it, that'd be great. But most of the time, it's going to be just a piece of the gi. And then we have our amazing back take that Professor Galbao taught us in one of his seminars. Okay, I'm going to scissor my legs, I'm going to switch my legs, and then come back up for it. So you guys probably can't see this, just turn it this way. So, yeah, exactly.
So one leg's free, one leg's inside.
One leg's inside here. So I'm going to be here, I'm going to grab anything I can and go elbow into my opponent's back, just to stop her from completely squashing me. Okay, this elbow keeps her away, and then I'm going to switch my legs. Okay, so my outside leg comes in, inside leg goes out. So here, I'm here, outside leg goes in, inside leg goes out. Now I'm going to come up on my elbow, pull the leg back out. As I come back up, knee comes in here, behind my opponent's back, and I'm going to turn everything that way, and I have a nice back take on this side.
I don't know if they saw it.
Yeah, it's good back.
Did you guys manage to see it, or should we do it again at the back?
No, I'll do it again anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll do it again anyway. Start here.
Okay. So we're at this position.
Alright, she goes, I go here. I stop the underhook, stop the crossface, and I grab anything I can. Okay? Now, I need to, here I was holding the pants before, but I don't need that arm here anymore. I just lock my legs in place. I open them, I don't keep them open, I just switch, okay? So see how my inside leg here is facing up? So I switch my legs, so the outside leg goes in, I post my hand, come up on my elbow, and I'm gonna pull my left leg back out, here, and then insert the knee behind my opponent's back, and turn that way. And I get my seat belt, okay? Yeah, exactly. So we're here, I turn everything this way, I pull, and I open, using my right side hook, boom, and she's already on the choking side. I can have my seat belt and start attacking. Good stuff. Eric, is that okay? I answer your question? Oh man, so many. Zar's in the picture now.
Oh wow.
Here come the questions. Doesn't this open up the same sequence we did in... Yes, exactly. It does open up the same sequence that we did in the Galbao seminar. Perfect, Zar. So it's an option that you could do from there. So do it again. I will do it again, Habibi. I'll repeat it for you, Abu Samra. Abu Zuz, would the back step still work even if you have spider guard on the left side? It would still work. It would still work, but our posture would be compromised. So it would take, what's it called? It would take a lot of posture. It would take a lot of base for you to a little bit left. I can see your legs. Nabil, did you were able to see the move? Now it's fine. All right, awesome. Okay, so one at a time. It is not necessary to unlock the lapel. No, Zar. So unlocking the lapel would be great if it was already there. So if unlocking, that's a good way to put it. So unlocking the lapel or undoing the lapel would be great. Yeah. So yeah, just go slow.
So if I was able to open the lapel beforehand, because either I see this move coming or I want this to happen, hey, that's great. But if it's not open, you might waste too much time trying to open it, especially after they go for the back step really fast. So you can actually just grab a piece of cloth from the jacket, from the lapel, from the gi top, okay, and use it to push your elbow in the back. It doesn't have to be undone. It would be great if it was, but it doesn't have to be. That's for Zar. Wahid joined. What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
Mr. Laith, are you here? Wahid is asking for you. I don't know why. Okay, let's go back
Team, I really miss you all.
Let's go back to his. Yeah, she does. She talks about you guys all the time. Okay, so they're saying, Yazan, would the back step still work if you have the spider on the shoulder?
Oh.
Put me in the middle. So you're on this side. So go collar.
Collar and spider, okay?
Collar and sleeve, and so this one, Yazan. So if we were here and I wanted to do the back step, it's actually very tricky because she's putting a lot of pressure to follow me with this foot on the shoulder. Don't look any. There you go. Perfect. So she's here. She's giving a lot of pressure on my shoulder and working my balance very well. Okay, so even if and she's doing a good job of keeping my sleeve to herself. So it's even hard for me to come back here. It's like a lot of strength I need to use to get to the leg to even push the De La Hiva hook down. But even if I was able to do it in my own tricky ways, we'll talk about that later. Let's go back to go back to the Hiva. So right here. So even if I was able to move the De La Hiva hook away from my knee in my own tricky ways, okay, this can give her a very nice sweep. So even if I'm here and I start to do a back step, all she has to do is pull her knee back in a little bit.
Which one?
This one. But yeah, and now as soon as I come back down, she pushes strongly. Yeah, exactly. And you can use it to come on top into a sweep. Okay?
Spider guard sweep.
Kind of. But it's not good for my posture. So if you try this at home, which is, I don't know if your wife's okay with this, but try it at home, then you will see what I'm talking about the balance. And so yeah, it's very difficult because the De La Hiva is like torquing on your knee this side, and then so you're turning this way, and then she's keeping strong on your shoulder this side. Okay, so the moment that I backstep, it becomes very, very hard to stay up, to stay in balance. So I need something, right? This is why this grip is amazing. This De La Hiva control is amazing because. Right, exactly. That's why I'm telling you, like, if you don't have the foot on the shoulder, if you don't have this foot on the shoulder, okay, you'll feel like something's missing. So if she was here instead of there, right, I can step over it, I can make pressure, okay, I can keep my leg out of the guard and start working my passing systems, okay, without even having to break the collar, okay. But if you have this control here, okay, it's absolutely wonderful. Yeah. So guys, good point here. So even if you're okay. So if you're here, if you're the guy on bottom or you're the person on bottom, okay, I know you're going to feel tempted to extend your leg all the way, but be careful about your knee. So don't extend it all the way, keep it a little bit bent. So you have a strong push, at the same time you don't work your tendons way too hard. Alright? And then the De La Hiva hook is just there to stay, and she's pulling my sleeve. Also nice.
I have a comment and a question.
Okay.
So I feel like if I were to do this guard, I want to be square with you. But if I move to the other De La Hiva, I want to be more on the side here.
Okay.
Is that right?
Well,
to have better control, I want to be like on your side here.
Well, here you need the leg. So if you're on the side, you need, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's a very good point. So if you're controlling the leg, okay, it's much better to be closer to the leg than in the middle. Okay, yeah, here it's not so good. It's easy for me to open up my knee and give her grief on the De La Hiva side. But she has collar on, sleeve and collar. So if you have sleeve and collar, sleeve and collar. If you have sleeve and collar following the shoulder, and actually it doesn't matter so much, but it's better for your knee if you come this side a little bit. See, so it's almost better. It's always better if you're playing De La Hiva to be closer to the side where you're controlling the De La Hiva guard, the De La Hiva leg.
Okay.
Let's see what we got. Ooh. ممكن انك تحول رجلك اليمين تعمل راح تكون في السايد كنترول لو صعب. رجلي اليمين أنا إبراهيم.
اللي تحت ولا اللي فوق؟
تحت ولا اللي فوق؟ لا هو عم بيقول على اللي فوق عشان يعمل باس. تحول رجل يعني حسب أي بوزيشن، عرفت علي؟ يعني هي إذا ما كانت ماسكة البنطلون أو مش ماسكة رجلي أوكي بقدر أتحرك، بس إذا الرجل ماسك الكتف صعب كتير أتحرك. شوف هون إيش في كمان؟ what's wrong with this Instagram?
I think because it's the end of the messages.
It is the end of messages. Oh yeah, so let's take the message position.
Which one?
That's new pattern.
Okay.
Okay, so perfect. Okay, so هون هلا رخي شوي عشان بس عشان I point out. So هون الرجل اليمين هذه اوكي ممسوكه في الديلاهيفا جارد اوكي، وعشان في رجل على الكتف اوكي because there's a foot on the shoulder صعب كثير اني اتحرك براحتي. هي مبين اني راح اتحرك براحتي، بس اول ما اضم الرجل لهون احاول اعمل باس في ضغط كثير على الكتف. exactly. شوف في عندك الايد هون تقدر تتحكم فيها، تقدر تعمل اتاكس او بلاتا ومن هالكلام. هاي الرجل if I can make it free بصير اعمل باس. هون الشطاره انك تضلك لاحق الكتف مش على السبايدر. It's not a spider guard, it's on the shoulder. Yeah, exactly. So if you look at it from this side you'll see it's on the shoulder, it's not a spider guard.
But then hon, there's an opportunity to do like a tripod or something.
Yes, of course. There's many opportunities. So even if my leg is free حتى لو رجلي مش ممسوكه اوكي صعب كثير اني اعرف اتحرك براحتي لانه هون في كثير كنترول. يعني she's pulling عم تسحب هون الكتف والايد والكتف بنفس الوقت عم تلحق كتفي هون، فصعب علي اتحرك واتحكم من هون. حتى اذا بدي ارجع لورا واعمل باس اشيل الرجل هاي من الطريق اوكي هي عندها كنترول على هون. تحط now you can do the tripod. So if I start pulling her up he's here the tripod sweep اوكي صعب علي اجي برجع بقوم لقدام just to defend the position that I have. يعني ممكن بس صعب كثير إذا خصمك عم بيعمل البوزيشن صح. Let's see. الفوق.
حسب مين أسرع.
حسب مين أسرع بالضبط، حسب مين البوزيشن تبعه أقوى. يعني إذا أنا قدرت أفك الجريبس يا على الكولر يا على الكتف بالرجل أو مسكت الرجل قبل ما توصل للكتف أوكي ممكن، بس إذا البوزيشن تبع خصمي كويس مش ممكن. Anybody else? You guys good? You got questions? What's up, Rio? Rio, Black Belt Center.
Oh, Rio. Hi.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna continue this series. So based on Rolo's recommendation, we're gonna do like a few submission options. Let's say from the back, because everybody knows when you go to the back, you go for a choke. Oh, schemo. Let's see a live round. Oh, sorry, you wish. I'd get destroyed live on Instagram. That's not going to happen, buddy. So, I'm going to do some submission options from the back because everybody knows I prefer to choke right away. But sometimes your opponent is very good at defending the neck. Rez, I'm talking to you. And then there's some people that are just really good at, like, as soon as they start defending, they start escaping the back, and then you start running out of options. So I'm going to give you today like a bunch of options when you're on the back or when you're trying to attack your opponent. Okay, it doesn't have to be the choke. It can start there. Okay, there's so many other things you can do. So I think you're back facing
Facing the camera. Go backwards. Go backwards.
Just enough. That's enough.
Okay.
So they can see. Okay, perfect. So I'm here. I have my seatbelt control. Okay, and obviously the choke is my number one thing. So I have my little tricks on how to get the choke by blocking some of the arms and doing some tricks here, but it doesn't always work as you anticipate. So we're gonna start by, I have my seat belt, and the first thing she wants to do is defend right side by pushing the top arm down, because or getting this one inside. It's interesting. So if I give her this space, obviously if I don't have a tight seat belt, she'll get the arm inside, right, and you have pushing on both sides. It's not very good for me. So if I'm doing this right, okay, I'm gonna have my hand face to the inside, so face the inside of the chest, and I have my seatbelt control. I see a lot of people these days, I see it sometimes, right? They do 5-finger grip, so a 4-finger grip on the seatbelt, where this is not good at all. You're gonna hurt your thumb, and it's not gonna be a strong grip. So always have 5 fingers here, okay? Make a harness, so make like a little stopper for your hand. So you're always gonna wanna slide my hand down, the seatbelt grip, and I don't want that to happen. So have nice tight control, and Once I have that, I pull my arms towards the chest so that it's very hard for my opponent to move, and she has trouble getting her arm inside, or any such. Exactly. But what they can do is they can do both hands on top of this seat belt, and kind of stop you from attacking. So if you remove this hand, then they try to block this hand with one arm. And there's so many things they can do to defend their position from here, especially after so many years of people getting to the back and doing chokes.
Instinctively, I'd want you to move that way to try to choke me and try to get the hook out.
This hook, I mean.
Whichever one.
Whichever one. Right, so if I want to finish the choke, I like to be on the seatbelt side.
You want to be here.
Right, or the choking arm side. They call it the pillow of death. And so yeah, if I'm able to, I'll untuck the lapel and I'll flip it. I always flip the lapel before I grab the choke. You'll see that most of the time, if I'm not able to flip it, okay, my hand will slip away, okay, because I'm like grabbing here. But if I flip the grip and I break it and I bring it here, it's very hard to break that grip, okay? So attack number one, if you're here, if you're not like on the mat or on the side, very easy attack you can do. As soon as I have a grip on the collar, I grab the pants on the same side, here, I'm going to step, so step one out, step two out, okay? So we're in here, I do step, okay? And as I here, I'm going to pull my elbow to my chest, and I open this leg far out, so my opponent falls in this gap, and I just pull my elbow to my chest here. Nice tight choke. So, I call this the chupacabra. If I grab here, okay? If I grab here and I go step, and I extend my arm instead of pulling tight, okay? I might lose the choke. So I'll be here and I just extend my arm, but there's enough space for her to pop her head back. Pop your head back, yeah, exactly. Here there's no choke anymore, and you'll find your opponent starts to escape because you don't have the hooks just as you planned. Okay, so let's try and do it this way. I'm in here, flip the collar, grip, grab the pants on this side, and go step. Now open this leg and pull your elbow nice and tight. Perfect. Okay, so I have my elbow and I pull it to my body. Okay, I don't extend my arm when I'm doing this choke. Keep your grip nice and tight and pull. So
I feel like my head keeps being stuck on his in this pocket basically. If there's any space, I could drop it down and escape.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So that's A. Okay. Obviously, you guys know the standard. You guys know the standard pull double collar. So I pull this collar down and I pull this one the exact same way. So sorry.
It's okay. I forgot how being choked
This
feels
kind
like.
of choke. And so that's two.
Woo.
And then.
It's okay. I'm fine.
And then the other two that I'm going to show you guys today, it involves the person on whose back is taken, defending the choke also nicely, and me capitalizing on it. Okay, so this can happen whether I'm here or laying down on the pillow of death. But for the logistics purposes, I'm not going to do it while lying down because you can't see much. Okay, so I'm going to be here, and my opponent is going to go and try to defend however way she likes to defend this seatbelt. So let's say she knows the choke is coming, so she block the arms.
Ideally, I don't get to this position.
Ideally, right? Perfect. So we're in here,
Yeah.
okay? And as soon as she comes in to block or defend with this hand,
They can't see the hooks though.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
One, two
Mm-hmm.
hooks. Okay? So let's say I'm in here and I'm looking to get my nice tight control, okay? And a lot of times, even before this happens, this hand comes into play and tries to grab. So here, I'm gonna pry this one apart and I'm gonna grab here, the meat of the hand. Let's say again, I have my seatbelt, she goes to go on top, perfect. I go and I grab this hand here. We call this the handcuff. So if I, here, it's like putting somebody in a handcuff position. I'm gonna grab here the meat of the hand, so this part, okay? And I'm gonna start pulling her elbow back here, okay? Because here it's all loose, and I don't want that. And I'm only grabbing this part of her hand, okay? So I need to make sure I'm controlling it well. So I grab this and I pull back here. So now she feels like her elbow's stuck in place and her wrist is stuck in place. So now if I'm smart, here's what I'm gonna do. You do have the option of choking still, okay? Because you're controlling this arm. But if you have this position, if you're blue belt and above, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my choking arm all the way to this side. And I'm going to go palm to palm. So my palm against her palm. And now I just press against my chest. Get a nice tight wrist lock. Here. Okay, perfect. You don't want to go too hard. So let's get a little bit closer so you can see.
Yeah, I feel like we need an angle.
Get a little bit closer.
We need this angle here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Seat belt. You go to defend. That's fine. Good. I grab here. I grab the meat of the hand and I pull it back. Okay. I don't pull it like way up here. I keep it all close to my body. Now this arm goes out, palm to palm here, and I press until a tap comes in. So be careful with the wrists, guys, because this can be very tricky. And only blue belt and above. So, is that Zar? I feel like he wrote me a paragraph. Let's see, guys.
It is Zar.
Let's see. Is the bow and arrow more effective than chupacabra since you're using your legs to put pressure on the opposite shoulder as well?
Bow and arrow if you don't have two hooks in, no?
Yes, doc.
Right, babe?
So come here. Goodness.
If you don't have two hooks in, you can go for bow and arrow.
Well, bow and arrow. So Zar, let me read that again. More effective since you're using your legs to put pressure on the opposite shoulder. So look, you don't have to. So even in the bow and arrow choke, so the chupacabra is like, if you think about it, it's sort of a variation to the bow and arrow choke. Okay, because what you do effectively in the bow and arrow is right here. Fine. So if I have my bow and arrow choke, Zar, yeah, I'm gonna be here, 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 essentially, right? Okay, so this is your bow and arrow position. Now some people go here, and some people, I'm gonna make this a little bit loose, and some people use this leg to go over the head and put even more pressure. So yeah, for sure you can do that, absolutely. Now, the difference is, with the bow and arrow choke, okay, a lot of people, again, they just extend this arm and use this leg behind the arm, okay, to stop my opponent from popping her head back out. If I'm extended, try to put your head back. Same way you did with the choke before. Yeah, because my leg is there, it's a bit harder to do this. So it's a different kind of move. The difference is, when we're doing our chupacabra, okay, I don't extend my arm at all. Okay, and it doesn't matter too much because the controls that you need are the pants here and the collar. All right, so you come in, okay, and I open this leg and I let my opponent fall into this pocket, and I turn and give you more of an angle.
Let's go back.
So I'm in here, I get my collar control, I get my pants control, and I go 1, 2, I open this, and I'm here. So elbow to my chest, okay, and I let her drop in the pocket, and I pull my elbow. Okay, look, so essentially it's the same choke, it's just a different variation, okay? So if I was here to extend my arm, but then throw this leg here over the shoulder or over the head, then you'd be ending up with a bow and arrow choke. So essentially it's the same move, but I prefer to do it this way. I prefer the chupacabra because it's much tighter and it doesn't give the opponent as much room to breathe or escape during the process.
I have a question actually.
Go ahead.
About bow and arrow.
لحظة شوي. عليك اللي يديك ربع الأشراف. شوي. تقدر تتفادى قبل لا تخرج له. هنا راح يكون الوضع الخروج.
So my question is, can you end up in a bow and arrow before you get both hooks?
You can.
Yes. Can you? Okay.
Can, but it's a bit difficult. So if you don't have both hooks, then you have just one.
Yeah, you already have one hook.
Okay.
And you have the collar in a choking position. How do you end up in a bow and arrow from there?
So you'd have to be doing it the opposite side. So I said I like to finish on the choking side.
Oh.
So if you're finishing on the not choking side, okay, then you'd have a way to switch up and get the bow and arrow. So that's it.
You have one hook.
Right. Let's say you have one hook and you're choking on this side,
Yeah.
but it's not working out or something.
Yeah.
It's a scenario. So the
Yeah,
way
you're
you can,
trying to put it in, and
Right.
I'm not letting you.
right. So I'm going to take this hand that's underneath right now, so
Uh-huh.
the hand that's grabbing the seatbelt so
Uh-huh.
nice and tight, and I'm going to use that one to grab the collar instead of going for the choking side. So I'm going to go here over, grab the collar. So we did this when Professor Carlos was in town. So So I grab the same side collar, and now I can use this hand here, either on the mats or to grab the pants. Okay? And I use this foot here on the hips, and I shrink out, and I get into this position here. So the trick here is to grab the collar as if you're doing a wrong choke, right? And you use the outside foot that's not a hook, use it on the hip. And I push off of it, and I start pulling tight on the choke, and this foot that was the original hook, it can come over, okay, I can grab the pants, and I can finish a choke here, or I can cross my legs and help create pressure with it.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, let's go back. I think I have a few more questions. Crucifix, Zar, if you get to crucifix and you trying to
Give
finish...
us a call when you get to crucifix.
No.
We'll talk then.
No, so like if you're in crucifix, Zar, then finishing the choke is easier than you think because you have collars, right? You know, it gets tricky if you have like a rear naked choke and you're in a crucifix, you're trying to finish that. But if you have the collars, okay, you can finish the choke by going one hand here, behind your opponent's, behind the back of the neck. Okay, you could do that, but again, it's very tricky. Like if you're in crucifix position, to go back and finish a choke that way, because your opponent's hand's gonna be like, you gotta be here. It's a bit tricky, but it can still work. Let's see. كم تاخذ رجله؟ شبه ممكن. إبراهيم الخروج دائما راح يكون شبه ممكن. هو مش موضوع أخذ الرجل ولا ما أخذ الرجل. تعالي. I'll get to your question in a minute, Ricardo.
How do I go to live? Yeah, one second. How do I
Right,
go
so
to
حتى لو I'll go to the story.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, go on.
Let's scroll down. لا ارجع لهون. هي like this here. Scroll to the side.
Yeah. Carry on, babe. Carry on.
I need to
My
show.
phone died.
Okay. So Ibrahim, حتى لو رجعوا عليك, so you know the escape like bridge on your opponent when you're in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so تسويها عشان.
I don't like it.
I know you don't like it, بس هيك سأل عنها.
Okay.
So إذا إحنا هون يقولون. Okay. إذا إحنا هون وبلش خصمي, like my opponent starts to bridge or come back at me. إبراهيم هيك قصدك؟ شايف هون؟ أوكي. الخروج دائما شبه ممكن, بس هون عم تعطيني مجال أسوي أشياء ثانية. أوكي. إذا مسكت الكولر من هون, مسكت البنطلون من هون, عندي نفس الحركة, بس لازم أجي برجلي هاي ورا الركبة وأبعد لقدام هون. هلا صارت قاعدة نفس البوزيشن. So now she's in the same position, and I can finish the same choke. إذا خلص الchoke نفس الشيء. Okay.
Okay.
تمام مرة.
Go back. Okay. شوف legs. Okay.
Yeah, bridge.
Okay.
So هنا هون. اوكي سو اذا هون مش مخلص البوزيشن لسه, شوف بجيب رجلي واحده او ثنتين ورا الركبه, اوكي, وبدفع لقدام. رجعنا على نفس البوزيشن هنا. هاي عندي الكولر, بقدر اخلص الشوك من هون اقدر اهجم على ايدي, اقدر اشمل كل شيء. اوكي, دائما الخروج ممكن, عرفت, بس انت لازم تكون اسرع بهجومك. ماجد خلا هو you into the submission or any technical escape where you have to achieve the survival mode. Ricardo. Survivor mode. I love it. So after you get to the choke, is there a technical way to escape, or is it basically survivor mode? Well, that depends, Ricardo. That depends. It depends on who your opponent is, how far the submission is, okay, how far the grip is, how tight the grip is, and then your anticipation. So if they catch you off guard and they're way ahead of you in the move, in the chess game, and they reach there way before you realize there's an attack, then it's very, very hard to escape. Yes, you're in survivor mode. But if I have my opponent on my back and I feel that they're going for the collar, because I know it's one of the best things to do for when you're on somebody's back is to go for a choke. Okay, if I feel like they're going for it and they reach and they grab the collar, then there are a few things that I can do to kind of slow down the attack. Does that make sense? So that I have time to plan my escape. Okay, so I'll show you one of the things that I'm talking about. Okay. And we're talking, Ricardo, before she puts me in the choking position, right? So if I'm here and she has the seatbelt on this side, 90% of the time, they're going to go to choke with this same arm. Exactly. So even if she goes and grabs the collar, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a 2-on-1. So I grab the sleeve with this arm, and I grab up here with this arm. Now I'm going to pull the elbow, try to pull the elbow in front of my chin, and turn my chin this way. So that kind of slows down the choke a little bit and gives me a little bit of time to try and work my defense. So once I'm here, I can like throw this leg over. I always like to escape the opposite side, not the same side as the choke. Okay, and now I can step over the hook, and now I can do the bridge. So Ibrahim, I can do the bridge من هون. And yeah, there are still options for both people to complete the attack, but it's harder for her to finish. Right, so but now I start to turn, and then maybe I go inside your guard, or maybe you go on top, or half guard here, because it's one hook, it can be half guard. Okay, so Ricardo, I do this a lot, like if somebody's working on a choke, I just pull the elbow in front of my face and turn my chin a little bit towards that shoulder. She's got strong chokes. Turn here, okay, and now I can start planning my escape. Before it was fight or flight, right? But here now I can start planning my escape, especially since she's holding this arm, okay? And I know I want to turn that way. I'm not going to turn the other way.
Here, I feel like I can armbar you.
We'll talk about that in a bit. We can get there. So yeah, you can attack this arm for sure. Okay. So here I'm going to typically push and step over the leg and start to work my attack. Because if I'm being choked, I'm not going to worry too much about the arm. Yeah, exactly. So here, guys, this is just survivor mode. This is just delaying the inevitable if you're here. But if I start pulling here, yeah, now I can breathe. Now I have a little bit more room to play. Okay? And if you have enough space to pop this all the way out, well, it's highly unlikely they're going to give you that space. Like, able to come all the way here is very, very hard. It's also feasible for you.
You know what I would do if you do that? Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Go for it, the escape.
Yeah.
So I would like try to. Oh, I can't. It's not possible. Anyway, never mind.
Yeah. We'll talk about escapes a little bit later, but that's for you, Ricardo. Let's see. Hold on, guys. I'm learning about this live thingy. After you control the one arm from seatbelt, can you please show how to isolate it with your leg?
Yes, but no, not this arm, the other arm. I know what you're talking about. Come here.
Hold on.
He means, can I show you? I get it.
I
That arm.
don't get it.
So you're saying.
Majid, confirm.
So you're saying isolate this arm?
Seatbelt. Which choke?
Yeah. Seat belt. And then what? What's the question? Isolate this arm, he said.
This arm, right? So Majid, the wrist.
I would control this arm, not this arm.
Majid, the wrist lock, or what exactly? Which part of the move are you talking about?
Talking about this.
No, I never did this. That's why I'm asking.
He's asking.
Let me see. You're welcome, buddy. Ricardo. Majid, let me know, big guy. I can do like my idea of isolating the arm with the leg, but that involves switching sides a little bit.
Isolating the arm with the leg is what I did.
You control the arm with the leg. Imagine the way I'm doing it. The way I'm doing it these days is I'll be here, okay, and people are so good at defending the choke that even if like I push this arm away and here like she can start defending with the other hand and then give me grief for it. So it's very hard these days. It's getting harder and harder to choke people. Okay, so what I'm doing these days is I'm grabbing, instead of seatbelt, I'm grabbing one arm here, okay, and she's probably defending. Yeah, the other arm I'm gonna hold it with the outside hand here. Okay, so this one's supposed to be the choking hand. I grab her wrist, and this one's supposed to be the seatbelt, covering the seatbelt hand. I grab the other wrist. Okay, all right. So when I'm here, I kind of push the bottom wrist. I push it away, and I hook it here. So if I make a hook like this, now I isolate this arm completely, and now I can have this one pushed down. Now I can have rear naked choke or collar choke right away. So these days, that's how I'm doing. Huh?
That's what I did. I isolated the arm with the leg.
Yeah, but no, the hand.
Yeah, no, the hand tricks are new.
Let's see. Ask him to clarify. Let's see if we got it.
Is that what he meant?
Oh, find out. Majid. Yes, the arm she grabbed. Gordon Ryan uses this to attack the neck with one arm. Yes, exactly. So I do the same thing. I'm doing the same thing these days. So I just control one arm on each side and sort of make a hook with my leg on one side to block it and then choke. Because then you have only one arm to defend with and it's not enough. Cool. Nice new approach. Let's habibi. I got one more. How's your guys' brains doing? If we got one more, then I'll show what also I do from there. So if we have back tape position and there's no, there's never no chance of choke. If there's less chance of choke, my opponent is giving me grief. Okay, I can grab here as if I'm going to go for the approach I just used, Majid, to grab the other wrist. Okay, and this time I'm just going to handcuff the arm. Okay, you can do the same approach I did with the wrist lock. Okay, I don't particularly like this one for the next move I'm going to show. So if I'm doing the meat, grab the meat of the hand, I go for wrist lock right away. But if I'm here, I grab the forearm. Okay, exactly like I'm handcuffing the arm. Okay, and pushing it down. And now from at this point, you can still go for the choke, but another option for you to do is to reach over, okay, and hand it over to this hand. So I grab the right below the wrist, I grab the forearm, and I make a Kimura grip here, okay? As I do this, I need to make sure my legs are switched correctly. So before I switch my arm to the other side, here's what I do with my legs. This one gets posted on the quad, and this one gets thrown across the belly. Here I'm throwing this across the belly, and this one's on the quad. Now I switch my hand over, and I have my Kimura grip. And I'm going to use my forearm with the right hand, okay, to push against my opponent's neck so that I can pass the leg over the head and go for the arm bar here. Right. So it's classic going for the arm bar from the back. A classic going for the arm bar from the back. I feel like I hit myself.
Okay.
So I'm here, seatbelt mode, okay, you can like switch grips here as many times as you want. Look, I start climbing with my legs before anything happens, and then I go 1, 2, push the opponent's head, and I'm going to push off of the hip with my right foot, and then pass over here, okay? You don't have to fall down right away, you can finish up a little bit so you have a nice tight control. Maybe they're like defending with their arms, but you're going to finish here, falling down, you have a nice arm bar to go for. Let's talk about it. First brain, I got here late. Come on, Ross.
What did you say?
So I asked how the brains are doing. First brain, I just got here. Zara, your brain is most of the time fine when it comes to jiu-jitsu. You can digest quite a bit. So that was all I had for today, guys. So if nobody else has questions, we'll wrap it up. But I'll be here just for another minute or so or two, just to see if anybody wants anything particular, any requests, comments, concerns. We're happy to help. Have some water. Welcome, Habibi.
Zara.
Well, Zar finds the karate chop armbar to be more effective against juiced up opponents.
Karate chop armbar?
This one? Yeah, this one. Yeah. When you fight juiced up opponents, I hope I'm in your corner so you don't need karate chop techniques. Ibrahim, هروب من الدلاهيفا هذه سيستم كامل. يعني we can start doing that, working on it. لو نقدر نشتغل عليها هاي في حصة ثانية completely، في حصة ثانية يعني يوم كامل. بس بعطيك مساعدة صغيرة إذا كنا في الدلاهيفا كيف البوزيشن هاي، إيش الحركات اللي لازم نسويها قبل ما تغرب. هون ماسكة هي البنطلون، اوكي، وماسكة الكم. هلا إذا ماسكة البنطلون والكم بدك تعرف إنه البنطلون صعب كثير تهرب منه، اوكي، مسكة البنطلون كثير قوية، مش بسهولة بتهرب منها. ف the way I like to do this، الطريقة اللي بحب أشتغل فيها، اوكي، هي وحدة. اول اشي هاي الرجل اللي هون اوكي عم بتكسر البيس تبعي، يعني اذا هي بتتفشل هون خلص انتهينا، رجعنا لنفس الوضعيه وراح تعمل لي الباك تيك نفس الحركه اللي انا سويتها هلا.